Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darison Chauskas. Today is the 10th of July 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this morning session where we're gonna have a look at a few instruments that I picked for this video. And yeah, I believe that it's quite important to have a look at those today. So yep, but before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, before we jump into the charts, let's quickly remind you guys about our web page here, the JFD research page, where we throw out different trading shoutouts, different technical analysis, and of course we throw out our daily analysis that we produce every morning. So yep, it's currently getting prepared, so feel free to check us out later on a little bit, and yeah, where you can find this report. Yeah, but basically in general I think you can find something useful here for yourselves, guys. So but before so actually now let's have a look at the charts quickly. So the first one I want to touch on is the DAX. Now certainly this is something that I wanted to show you guys. This is something that I threw out on the 4th of July. This nice trade that actually worked out nicely. So you can see that we had a nice move to the upside. We reached our target, and this is where we've exited. So a nice risk-reward ratio of 2.4. It worked out perfectly. So yep, we can just quickly get rid of this now, and let's have a look and see how we could position ourselves for the next one. So for now, you can see that we are still trading here on the DAX. On the bigger picture, we're trading here below this downside resistance line here. It has been running here since around the 23rd of January, something like that. And but at the moment, we can see that in the shorter picture, DAX kind of continues to climb higher, currently meeting its resistance area at around the crossroads of the 21 and the 100 EMA. Certainly at the moment it seems like it wants to continue pushing higher. It seems it wants to go a little bit further here. We do have some good levels here that I was talking about in the past, about the 12,600. Now this is a good one, and certainly above that we do have some good ones as well, for example like the 12,785 approximately there. Certainly on the downside we do have some good areas of potential support. The first one is of course the 12,450, which we see that we've broken out through nicely, then kind of had a small reversal here to the downside on Friday, kind of tested that area, but still the bulls managed to push it back here up and close the day higher. So there are some good levels to watch here. Let's put a 4-hour chart in order to kind of see how we could actually place a trade here and how we could position ourselves. So let's get rid of some of these highlighted areas. So I'll keep this important level, guys, for you for now, because like I said, it is quite an interesting and important level here, the 12,450. So if we actually also draw something like this, like a tentative upwards moving support line, so we can see that currently, yep, the price continues to kind of create higher lows and continues to push higher, and this support line is supporting. So at the moment, yep, we are targeting this 12,600. At this point, to be honest, we're quite cautious because if we suddenly reverse back down and we make a move towards a test of this upside support line, this very short-term upside support line, keep a close eye on this one, because we eventually could make a break here and then move back down towards this 12,450 level that I was talking about. So quite an important area to watch. Now if this gets broken, I mean, even though we could get a potential break here of this upside support line, still we would need to see a nice move below and a nice close below this 12,400 in order to kind of start considering lower levels. Just let me actually adjust this a little bit, guys. So good levels actually to watch is the next 12,300 potentially there, but like I said, at the moment this is what's in regards to the downside. But like I said, a break below this upside support line, it wouldn't be enough for us, because it's just like a tentative support line here. So we need to see a nice move below the 12,450. That way we could start aiming for the 12,600 level. But to be honest, at this point it would be difficult. It's probably easier to kind of continue monitoring this one. If, let's say, we do get a scenario where, let me just put some arrows here, if we do get a scenario of something like this, oh, let me go, there we go, and we could maybe see a bounce here, a move a little bit lower here, a bounce from this tentative upside support line, and then make a push higher. So probably this is where you could start position yourself and enter a trade here from this level around here, around the 12,555 approximately there, and yep, we could start aiming for the 12,600. Now certainly this is a very short and a small kind of let's say trade opportunity here, because like I said, we do have this good area of resistance at around 12,600. But certainly, like I said, it could be interesting to see this happening. I mean, we could enter a trade here and then go for something like 45 points here to the upside, but certainly having your stop loss, a very small stop loss here, and a potential break of this upside support line. So something like this could work out potentially, but if it doesn't, I mean, like I said, be very careful here, guys, because if we do get a break here below this upside support line, then we could eventually start aiming for the 12,400, and maybe if we see a break here, we could then roll over here and move to the downside towards this 12,300 mark approximately there. So keep an eye on this one, guys. Could be an interesting trade. Looking at gold, and gold is, let's put a daily chart, and gold is currently, well, it's stuck here below this 1261 area, so very good potential area of resistance. You can see that we did pierce through this area yesterday, but nevertheless, I mean, the bears kind of managed to get back into the driver's seat and kind of move it lower, and yep, and we can see that even though the candle kind of stayed positive, but still below this 1261 mark. So it proves to be a very good area of resistance for now. So we can see that this today we already almost managed to kind of reach that level again, but then we can see that it reversed back down. So for now, if to have a look at the 4-hour chart, this is becoming quite interesting, because we could, if we don't see a break here, another break here above the 1261, and eventually a close on the day above this 1261, then I mean, we could probably end up moving lower here. And for us to kind of maybe position for a small trade, let's say on this one, then for us to, we would need to see a nice move here below this area here, below the 1251, in order to kind of consider a further drop here to the downside. So let me just kind of put some marks here. There we go. So if, let's say, if it moves lower, if it moves towards this 1251 zone, and we start, of course, like I said, we start breaking it to the downside, you could eventually position yourself for something like this, where we could make a move oh, there we go, something like this, basically, where we could make a move below this 1251 and then end up moving towards this 1245 as well, which acted as a very nice area of support here on the 28th, 29th of June. But then eventually kind of actually we could end up moving towards this upwards moving trend line that has been running here since 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So very good potential area of support again. So yep, this trend line has been running, yep, December 2015, so for quite a while, and you can see that we already had a test of this trend line, so we could see something happening similar again. So that's why probably we could potentially maybe enter a trade here, and this is where you could place your stop loss just in case if it reverses back to the upside here. So the 1257-58 mark approximately there could be a potential good area for a stop loss. So guys, this is certainly just a trading idea. You be the judge. You take what's more convenient and for you. So yeah, guys, keep an eye on it. Another one, important one, British pound. So yep, as you probably follow the news, you can see, you know that there are a bit of as the news like to say, turmoils in the Brexit development. So currently we're seeing this this gets reflected here in the in this pair, the GBPUSD. So we managed to make a move back down here below this 132.50 mark that I had highlighted. We of course we closed the day just slightly above that level, but nevertheless we're seeing now another bearish move here on the day. Let's quickly put a 4-hour chart back on, and we can see that we have this upside support line as well, this short-term upside support line running from the 28th of June. We're seeing a nice rebound back to the upside here. We could end up pushing towards this 132.50 again, but this is to be honest the point where you need to be very careful, because if we're going to start breaking it to the upside, maybe maybe the bulls will decide, you know what, maybe this wasn't like a news that big of a negative news, so we could push this pair back up here. But if, let's be honest, if the bears kick in, I mean, keep an eye on this break here. Keep an eye on the potential break of this upside support line, where we could end up moving lower here. Let me just actually adjust a few levels here. So this level right here, the 132.15, probably is gonna become irrelevant. We could start aiming maybe for this one right here at around 131.70 approximately there, because you can see clearly on the 4-hour chart. Certainly, I mean, some could argue maybe we could aim for this one as well, the 131.90 mark approximately there. Yep, that could be a good first initial support line, but then again we could end up moving a little bit lower here. So wait for a potential move here out of this little zone where the pair is stuck right now. So, and then yep, you could eventually position yourself for a trade. Now looking at the another GBP pair, GBP against the Japanese yen. So we can see that well, even though the pound is weak, nevertheless, the Japanese yen is still weaker. So we continue to push higher. I was talking about this one last week, to be honest, and I was waiting for a nice move here above this 146.250 area. So we had a nice pop here to the upside. We broke the other area of resistance at around 146.650 approximately there, and now we continue to push higher. Certainly at the moment it seems quite positive, and we could end up seeing this one moving towards this 148 mark. So keep an eye on this one, guys. If you do want to enter a trade here, so something like a good possibility could be a move above these today's highs that we had here at around 147.200 approximately there. You could eventually position yourself something like for that. Let me adjust this. This is way too big here. So something like this, guys, could be a possibility. Certainly entering a nice. Okay, this is a bit annoying here. Okay, nevertheless, I mean, you probably got the picture, guys. So position yourself something for like this, and where we could aim for the 148 mark eventually, but of course keep your stop loss tight, because we could end up breaking this, moving back down and breaking this line here, the 146,650. Certainly keep an eye on it, but at least you could at least cut your losses quickly, because you don't know, maybe this would continue moving lower here and moving towards this 146,250 again. So for now, guys, keep an eye on this level here, on these today's highs, and yep, we could maybe squeeze a nice trade out of this one. And the last pair that I really wanted to touch on is the Aussie dollar, and Aussie dollar continues to climb higher. Let me just put probably a 4-hour chart on this one, it'll be easier, and it continues to climb higher here above this upside support line. Certainly at the moment we continue to remain more to the bullish side. We could eventually see something like a move like this, where we could see maybe a move lower towards this support line, and then eventually a bounce from it and another move higher. So if we do get something like this, this is where probably small recommendation would be, don't enter a trade here at this support line, because you probably, if you've traded for quite a while, you do know that you can get something like a move lower here, a break, and then something like a reversal back to the upside. So for us to become more bullish on this one, we need to see a nice move here above this area right here at around 0.74850 approximately there, and this is where we could start kind of positioning ourselves for some moves higher. Let me just put some arrows here, guys. There we go. Something like this, guys. I mean, this could be a potential trade here, but because we could end up moving higher above these 0.74850 and then aiming for the 0.75300, which was a nice level here with this spike to the downside that we had on the 13th of June. So good potential area for resistance, but like I said, only if we get a nice pop here above this area. Let me just highlight that. So there we go, above this area of 0.74850 approximately there. So, well, I hope this was helpful. I hope you found it helpful. And if you want to join me later on, guys, and at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT and 14:15 British Summer Time. So, but for now, I'll have to wrap it up here and say bye-bye and have a good European session. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.